I had to do something that I am passionate about, that I love. Now, when I make money, I don't feel guilty and I'm happy about it, right?
Welcome to the Masters of Integration podcast. We aim to change the narrative from Jack of all trades, master of none, to Jack of all trades, master of integration. Join us as we talk to people who have discovered how to combine one thing with another so that they become whole. We will hear how their journeys have shaped who they have become and their unique successes. Our hope is that their stories will inspire you to find your purpose, discover who you are, and integrate your diverse passions and skills into your life. To being whole. Let's go. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being on the podcast.
You're welcome.
So this is the Masters of Integration podcast. The goal for me is the whole framework of creativity and art. So my hope through this podcast is to bring light to this conversation, change the way people think of what does it mean to be an artist? And then two, what also does it mean to be a master of integration? How do you bring all these things together into who you've become? So for the both of you, I'm really interested in hearing that part of your journey, who you are, what made you to who you are now, what you're doing. So, thank you for being a part of this. And if you can introduce yourselves,
sure.
I love that.
Yeah, who do you want to go?
Go first, yeah.
So my name is Leandro, last name Munoz. My social security number. So what do I do? I'm a broker. I'm a broker for a financial services company. And I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. And I started the business as a part-timer. And then eventually when I saw that this is something that I could do full-time, pulled the trigger 10 months after doing it part-time, and I went full-time. And then after I went full-time, my wife went full-time. So this is a family business. So this is what we do together. And I love every bit of it, man. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, man.
Yes.
I have so many questions already. That's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And I'm Chris Yap. I'm the CEO and founder of GabTech Global, as you know. So GabTech Global, we are a staff augmentation company based here in Arizona, but we provide professionals from the Philippines, 100%. So we specialize in providing bookkeepers, accountants, IT professionals, marketing, essentially anyone who can work remotely, we can provide those. That's a quick overview of what I do, and happily married with Aisel for over 20 years now with 3 wonderful children.
That's so awesome. I think that's the thing that I actually want to hear more about. The 2 things that you both mentioned are working with your spouse, right? And then you being happily married. I think a comment that I see, or I think the more comment that you see in media in general, right, is these hyper successful people who have marriages that, are just falling apart. And one of the things with this, I hope, is how do you do it? Right? How do you do this entrepreneur thing? And how do you still keep the passion alive? But also, how do you do it when you're working with them?
Right. Yeah. See, if you're, I enjoy every bit of it because we are on the same page when it comes to this aspect of our life. Not just this aspect, but all aspects of life. And when we started this in the beginning, we already established that, hey, we're going to do this together. It's not a 50-50 partnership. It's 100-100, right? I give 100%, you give 100%. That's the only way we can make this work, right? So because of that, our relationship actually got stronger because we struggled together, we cried together, we laughed and we smiled and we celebrated together, which made our relationship really, really stronger. Before we started the business together, we were working jobs. I was working as a marketer for an ambulance company. My wife was working as a nurse, and we wouldn't even see each other. So I would only see her when she gets home, and then that's when I'm about to leave to go to work, right? But now we get to choose when we want to see each other, right? And I was talking with Chris, so both of us already retired our spouse, right? So it's just an amazing thing that you can tell someone you love, I got you, right? So, yep,
Yep.
that's what we did. That's what I did. That's what he did. You know,
So good.
it's amazing. Yeah,
Dang.
yep,
That's like the dream.
yep.
That's really cool.
100%. And, very similar with what Leandro said. The way I see, like, in our household between me and Hazel, because, we own the company 50-50. We're both owners. I see it as like we're band members. Someone has to be the vocalist, someone has to be the guitarist,
Right,
someone
right.
has to be the drummer. The only way you can create that perfect harmony is if everyone's on the same page and same tune, same
Yep.
beat, right? And that's kind of how we look at how we operate. And what's interesting is when we were still in the Philippines, when we just got married, because the thing is, when I first saw her and then we started dating, I just wanted to be with her like all the time. Like when I say all the time, like the entire day. And then we were figuring out what can we do where we can be together all the time and still make money, because we gotta live, right?
Right.
That was like 20 years ago. And then we were just talking about this last week that we said, don't you realize that we spoke about this like 20 years ago and we're actually living it now? Like my office is at home. We have breakfast, we have lunch, we have dinner almost every day, like except I have meetings or out of town. But when you enjoy it, you don't really see the balance between work and personal life, because it's so integrated. You don't really have to balance because it's one.
Yep.
It's a one thing. It's not parts of different things. And but for you to get to that level, the first critical thing is you have to find the right partner. Because if you don't find the right partner, you don't have that compatibility. I don't think any of that's gonna happen. Otherwise, you're gonna force it, which it just won't work.
Yeah.
So I think the first step is you gotta find the right partner,
Yep.
and that's what we both did.
Yeah, and it's very important to know your roles. Who's the
100%.
captain of the ship, right? Who's the co-captain? Are you an anchor or are you a sail in the relationship, right? You got to let the leader lead, right?
Yeah.
Do those roles shift, or are they always, this is who is the captain all the time?
In my organization, in my household, I am the captain. I've established that from the beginning, and they respect it and they love it, right? That's why I get to say, I got you. You guys don't have to do anything because I got you, right? But you got to let me lead, right? So, the notion of do not mix business with pleasure, that's an excuse, right? Because if you're in business with your family, if you're in business with your spouse, the business is pleasure, right? There's pleasure in doing business, right? Because you are doing it together with your spouse, and we don't ever butt heads, because we're on the same page. We have the same goals, same why. My why is to make sure that I provide the best life for my family, and that's her why also, right? So we're always on the same page.
Do you have kids?
I do.
Okay. How many kids do you have?
I have two.
You have two kids?
I have a 3-year-old.
Oh,
And how young are you?
33.
I have a 29.
Okay.
But don't call me Tito.
And then you have,
I have 3 kids. I have 20, 13, and 11, all boys.
yeah, I mean, so I have a 2-year-old.
You do?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow, nice.
And I've been married for 3 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, I mean, you 3-year-olds, congratulations to you. That's, that's awesome. Yeah, I guess, and I'm obviously like early in my marriage, still early in the entrepreneurship thing. I mean, this has been my full-time like gig, right? Freelancing for like 13 years, but took it seriously as a business, as myself as a business, not freelancing anymore, maybe the past 2.5 years. But I think the biggest challenge has been, my wife doesn't work with me, right? She's a stay-at-home mom, which I think is the hardest job, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
Especially with a 2-year-old.
Yeah, for
Terrible
sure.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's like, my daily struggle is, how do you, I feel like I wake up at 4:30, 5, every morning. I get home like at 5, maybe 6 p.m., I know you have this whole like 4-hour work week or something like that. But I'm trying to figure out how do I get out of this, cycle of like, I want to be with my kid, I want to be with my wife. I want to mix business with pleasure, but I also realize that I still have an ego and I'm trying to get rid of it, but it's like hard to work with me. For my wife to work with me. So, I'm trying to get rid of all those things. But with that, I guess, how are you both balancing that or, living in that tension of, being able to be fully present to your business, but then be fully present to your families?
Wow, that's good. Well, the fact that I'm doing this for them, and that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. You own your own time, you own the business, so you get to pick when. In my business, and I know you're at that point also, when we get to pick when, hey, today I'm not gonna work. I'm not gonna go to the office today. So today is family time. Where do you guys want to go? Do you want to shop? Let's go. Right? Do you want to go out of town? Let's go. You want to go out on the weekend? Let's go. Let's do it. Right? So, for me, I the way I run my business is I always go my faith, family, finance. Right? My business comes third. Right? So my faith, my God always comes first. Right? And then of course family. I will never ever sacrifice my family to make more money in business. But they know when they don't see me, I'm taking care of business. I'm bringing home this, right? So you have to make sure. Well, in my case, I had to make sure that I assured them that whatever I'm doing is for you guys. So you have to understand if I'm not sometimes like my son just turned 29 on July 24th, and I wasn't even there because I had to take care of something, right? Take care of the business. But the week prior to that, the whole weekend, we went out of town together, right? So, yeah, you just got to make sure that they understand that, this is you're doing this for them, right? And then you got to make sure that whatever you're doing, especially in entrepreneur, is scalable, right? It's there should be an end game, right? So the way my business works is I build it now, give it all I got, and then eventually I don't have to show up for my business, but the income still shows up. It's passive, right? We were talking about Warren Buffett said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you're going to work till the day you die, right? So you got to find something that will allow you to make passive income. How do you make passive income? You make money work for you, right? You have a system that's working for you. So you got to have do something that will give you an end game. Yeah.
100%. And the thing too is where we both are today, we didn't start this way. Like in the first few years, oh yeah, we'd be working 60 hours a week because you don't have anyone yet. So it's a process, right? In the first few years, you're learning your craft, you're perfecting your craft, and then you're building systems. So it's people, systems, and processes, right? That's your best friend. That's the only way for you to be able to, like what Leandro's saying, spend time and be with his family anytime he wants, go anywhere he wants. But before we both got to that point, yeah, we built the system, we built the process, we found the right people. Those are 3 key ingredients that in the first few years you have to develop. But once you put that all together and it's humming like a well-oiled machine, yes, that's when you can go out anytime. You can make money while you're asleep. It takes time, man. And the thing is, since we're talking about, with our spouses, right? They need to support you. Because if they don't buy into that process, I don't think it's possible to make that happen because there's just going to be conflict. So you have to make sure that it's all about communication. That communication's key. That hey, yeah, I may be working like in your case, right? You're out. I know you leave early. You're out of the house by 6, get home by 5. You just have to make sure that you communicate that well. That this is not forever. This is part of that infancy stage of the business, and expect that to happen within the first 3 to 4 years, right? That's why we've been talking about. Okay, this is what you've done so far. What's level 2? What's level 3? Because you can't progress unless you're developing these processes, systems, and people.
Yep. And there's a saying in business that there's no such thing as a maintenance in business. You always have to be growing, right? If you're not growing, you're dying. Your business is dying, right? It's always, scaling, right? So you got to find a way to make sure that your business is really growing. Yeah, expansion.
And I think what's key too, and Leandro and I are in the same stage of our business where we're not really doing all the heavy lifting anymore. We spend most of the day thinking. We talking about being creative, right? We're creating things in our head and we're testing things in our head. That's what we do every day. Aside from that, we network a lot. That's what we do. Like Leandro, especially. Leandro is a super networker. In his business is really about people. My business is about people too. I'm basically selling people. True. Literally, I'm selling people.
He's not a trafficker.
Not a trafficker, but it's. And we're basically doing the same. We're recruiting people, we're selling people. Like what you said earlier, you're not really in the insurance business. You're in the people business. And we're exactly the same thing. But you built that. It didn't happen overnight, man.
No.
There were a lot of sleepless nights, sorrowful nights where. Because you're going to fail.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to learn.
Yes.
That's why you want to fail as fast as you can.
Yes.
So you can.
Forward,
right? So learn as fast as you can. But the reality is, these are all part of the building blocks. All part of it.
That's awesome. I mean, just on a side note, this is a totally other podcast for another time. But it's a real honor. I think it's really inspiring that I'm sitting with two Filipino men entrepreneurs that have their own business and that are and that have families that are successful. It's just really inspiring to see because I just remember I was in the Philippines and I was asking my dad maybe 7 years ago, just why are there so many Chinese businesses here? And why aren't there any Filipino, as many Filipino businesses or Filipino entrepreneurs? Why don't we ever hear that or see that, And so that's another podcast for another time, but mainly just want to pay my respects and say thank you for the, the path that you both are.
How ironic, huh? Because in the Philippines, there's not a lot of Filipino business owners, but come to the U.S., most of the successful people are business owners are Filipinos.
Right. I think it's the environment.
Yeah.
One is the environment, but more than anything, I think it's the mindset. And you and I, we discussed this many times that I think a lot of Filipinos, they just don't think that they can do it. I think especially when they're there, and I was just there a few weeks ago. But here they see people, oh, this guy can do it. I could probably do it too. So I think it's a combination of that environment and mindset. But the thing is, I guess for those listening, just to kind of provide some context, Leandro and I, we've been really good friends since first year college.
Yeah.
In fact, Leandro was the first guy I spoke to in college, first day of school.
What?
Yeah. So our relationship's been and we did our feasibility study together.
Yeah.
We were in the same group. We were classmates from first year until fourth year college.
Yeah.
And then I was actually there the first the day when Frankie was born.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's your son.
My son, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
So
godfather.
I'm the
yeah.
godfather. I was there.
Yeah.
So we saw Frankie the same
The
time
same
for the first time.
For the first time, yeah. Because we were still in school. We were in college, right?
Yeah.
So I was told that, the mom gave birth already. Really? Okay. Hey, Chris, can you come with me?
Let's go. I remember it was raining hard too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Go way back.
Dang, that's awesome. So I really want to get into the past because I want to know more of what you both did, where you came from, and things like that. But before we get to that, I kind of wanted to finish this past conversation of like your end goal. You both kind of mentioned, like, especially when speaking to your spouse, but even in your business, having an end goal, right? Like, it's like you can't just, maintain it. You have to make sure that you're scaling it and that you have a plan. So what is the plan and the end goal for you both and your businesses?
I'll let him.
Yeah. So in my organization, in the type of business I'm in, it's a financial services industry. Were like what you mentioned, what Chris mentioned. It's not. Yes, we do investments, we do insurance, but we're not really in that business. We're in the people business, right? So, like in any business, if you don't have people, if you don't have the right team, you're not going to be successful, right? So, in my organization, the more people you help become successful, the more successful you become, right? So, if you put numbers to it, my goal is to have 5,000 agents, licensed agents in my organization. At 108 right now, so I got work to do, right? So I can, if I stop now, yes, I'm gonna make money. I'm still gonna be okay, but that means I'm gonna start helping people make money, right? So I was talking to Chris about this author named T. Harv Eker. He said, if you want to make, very, very simple, if you want to make $1 million, help 1 million people solve one problem and charge them $1. Right? That's $1 million, right?
That's awesome.
So, so in my case, I'm going to help 5,000 people become successful, and that's financial freedom already.
Yeah. So for me, if we would put a number. So first of all, my why, the reason why I do this is because I really want to provide high-paying jobs in the Philippines while helping entrepreneurs here in the U.S. grow their businesses, right? So it's like, it's a win-win situation. My goal by 2027 is to have 1,000 full-time people in the Philippines. So I'm at 160, 870 right now. So I also have a lot of work to do. But if I can get to that level, the amount of money that we can share among everyone, my management team, leadership, and all the consultants, my family, there's plenty. That's the plan. And the end game is I want to keep growing it, not really looking to sell it. Like, especially Nico, my second child, have shown interest in the business. I mean, he's only 13, but he's a mature type, and I think he's serious about it. At the same time, I give my people in the Philippines opportunity to grow with their careers. So anyone who want to take over my position at some point, I would love them to. And just work with a family as well. So that's kind of like that's the long-term plan.
Yeah. And the way we're in a different business, but similar. We're in, we build it big enough, consistent enough, that we can pass it down to the next generation. Right. Because a job you can't pass down to the next generation, but a business you can.
Right.
A thriving business you can.
100%.
You don't want to pass down a stressful business, but a thriving, consistently producing business. Yeah. So that's my goal for my son, Mason, and the older one, Frankie. If he wants to, he can take over
So the goals, right, are like financial freedom, and then also not selling the business, but being able to create something that you can pass on to like the next generation.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess the second part of that question for me is, once you get financial freedom, right, and you're at that place, you can give it to them. What is that like? What does that look like then from there? Does that mean like you retire, you get to spend more time with your family? Does that mean you start another business? I mean, is there something that you tell your wives like, hey, once we get to that point, we're going to be...
It's interesting we're talking about this, right? Because I was just talking to Hazel about this. I told her, I don't think I'd ever retire. Because that's going to be really boring.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I just feel like it's in my DNA to be pushing for something. I feel like once that point, this business is at that level, what I envision myself doing is I just want to be coaching young entrepreneurs, avoid mistakes I did, and do this that kind of help accelerate the growth of my business. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to invest on these small businesses as well. But not like the Shark Tank model where, it's kind of like win-lose.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I envision I want to coach young entrepreneurs.
Yeah. I think if I would correct something, I would change the word retire when it comes to entrepreneurs, because we're not really retiring is for a job. You retire from a job and then right. But with business, when it's still there, right? You're just gonna stop
the day-to-day, maybe
the day-to-day,
have
right?
someone,
but it's still going, right? It's like me. My goal is to stop going out on the field. My goal is to get to the point when all I got to do is coach my players, my team, mentor them, and not really necessarily have to go out and then sell anymore, right? Just coach, mentor, and whoever wants to expand. Because the system of our business is, when they expand, when my agents become brokers, they don't become my competition. They become part of my business. We're just expanding. So the goal is to expand everywhere. All the states. I already have agents in different states. I don't have an agent here yet, so anyone who wants, we're recruiting right now.
Information below. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate all the stuff you've already done for me. I mean, you're already doing what you want to be doing. You know what I mean? I don't know who else you're doing it for, but you've been like so pivotal for me in this past 2 year. I don't know, since like a year ago, right? Maybe like October.
Actually, I think since October.
Yeah, I mean, you've been coaching me, invested in me in time and financially, and it's been real pivotal for me and helped me change my mindset, to continue to move forward and like being able to see what's possible, so I really appreciate that. Just want to publicly thank you. Really means
you
a lot.
are very welcome.
But yeah, I think what I would love to hear more about too is, so I guess like how did you get here, and what was your journey to be where you're at, right? So did you ever think that this is where you were going to be at this time of your life? What you're doing?
Back in the Philippines, I was born and raised in the Philippines. I was an actor in the Philippines, and when I gave it up to start a new life here in the U.S. Right, so that was back in 2003. Moved here, and I said goodbye to that, to that world, and I wanted to start fresh. So I know, that America is the greatest country ever for opportunities, right? I love the Philippines. That's my motherland, right? But this is the land of opportunity. So moved here, and I never worked a job in the Philippines, and he knows that. Right after graduating college, I became an actor. I became a commercial model and actor. And when I moved here, I wanted to fulfill the American dream. I thought the American dream was working in America. I thought that was the American dream, right? But someone told me American dream is not that. American dream is being a business owner. You gotta be a business owner. We're a capitalist country. You know, you own your assets. You own your business, right? So for the first 5 years, I've been in the U.S. for 20 years now. For the first 5 years, I worked a job, different kinds of job. I even became a forklift driver, right? It was a humbling experience, right? From being an actor to that.
Yeah, from seeing his face all over billboards in EDSA in
To
the
dr-
Philippines.
To picking up bottles because I was doing forklift driving for like, a company, the warehouse that does manufactures the water bottles. You know, this Aquafit. Can I mention?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So those water bottles, right? So, and then I got tired of it. So the next 5 years, I became a marketer for an ambulance company. That's when I realized, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to do sales. I want to do marketing. I want to, I want to have an opportunity to grow. So the goal is for me from becoming a marketer to becoming a marketing director to becoming an owner of the company. And I realized I'm never going to be an owner. The owner will not let me become an owner, right? Unless I invest. But at that time, I didn't have the means to invest, right? And then I saw a quote. Look at the last 5 years of your life. If you don't like the last 5 years of your life, financial life, and you don't make any changes today, the next 5 years is going to be the same, right? So I had to make a change, and then that's when I found the company that I'm working with right now. That's when I realized that okay, I got to make a change today, and this is what I'm going to do. This company will allow me to become an owner of my own office, my own business, become a broker, and it changed my life. Right? Just that quote alone, right? You don't make a change today, the next 5 years is going to be the same. And then the next 5 years was different. And then another 5 years was different, right? So, yeah. So that's how I got to where I am right now. And, I'm just getting started.
100%.
Yep.
That's crazy. I mean, I have so many questions too within that, but yeah, I mean, don't forget what you're gonna answer to, okay? But so I guess like I think that's the intriguing piece to me is, it's one thing to come to America from the Philippines for like being in a tough financial place or and then wanting to find opportunity, but you came to America opposite from a place of like, I mean, I don't feel like from stardom, right? To then going to do forklift work. Like, can you see?
I like your question because it came to a point in my life when I achieved the financial success, right? And then you will realize it's not everything. Success is not just about the money that you make, right? It's about how you made it and how you helped, right? Who did you help? Is there any life that you changed is there anyone that I changed, any life that I changed being an actor? Because in being an actor, celebrity, the more fans you have, the bigger you are, the bigger you get, right? Now, in the type of business that I have right now, the more successful people I have in my organization, the more successful I become. I'd rather have that, right? And now the way I'm making money is something that I love. There's a purpose. It's a purpose driven life, right? There's a purpose for doing it. I make more than what I'm making as an actor, but I love what I'm doing, right? And I was telling Chris, this is not a put down on the entertainment industry, but it's such a dirty world, right? It's such a dirty world. You got to be strong enough to not get trapped in that norm, because it's a normal thing in showbiz to. I don't want to go into details too much, but it is a crazy world. It's a crazy world, and I did not like that part of it.
see. Yeah, it's really interesting because, I feel like even myself, I feel like when you're growing up, that's what you want to become. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, like
You
feel like,
fantasize about
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
you feel like success is like those things,
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
And then, you do hear often like, oh, you reach the pinnacle, you realize not everything. But I also just think that it's interesting to hear from your perspective of like you felt like you weren't helping people. I guess like with acting, was that always a dream of yours? Was that something you always wanted to do? Was that like a
No,
passion?
it wasn't a passion until I did it. So I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So that's why, we went to school for business management. So what happened was while in college, I opened a business, a home-based business. I called it Tilaok. We would roast chickens. And the first year of me doing it, I made 50,000 pesos, right? That's about $1,000 in 1 year. But then I became a commercial model right after graduating. And my first paycheck as a commercial model was 550,000 pesos in 2 days.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I closed down the business and this is what I'm going to do because I enjoyed it, right? I loved it and the money was good, right? So I'm not doing something illegal. It's legal, moral, ethical. And then that's when I realized, okay, I want to do this. I have a talent for it, became a commercial model and then I became an actor and then I fell in love with acting. I fell in love with the craft. I just did not like the life that came with it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I was telling him, fame, power, they're addicting. Fame, power, money, they're so addicting. But then, yeah, you got to be strong enough to say no to it, to the life that comes with it.
That's crazy, man.
We could have a full podcast.
I know exactly.
I mean, he hasn't even divulged like a lot of the juicy
I haven't even
details.
scratched the surface.
And we should probably do that over whiskey, which we did last night.
That's awesome. With is the doctor?
Dr. Hennessy.
Dr. Hennessy.
Thank you, Doctor.
Love it. Yeah, man. What about you? How did you get to where?
So, born and raised in the Philippines, I was working there for a company called DTSI, and we were building call centers in the Philippines. At that time, it was the starting point of outsourcing in the country, so early 2000s. And then there was an opportunity, the company I was working for started an office in the US, and then the owner was really kind enough to use me as the guinea pig. But fortunately, I was given that opportunity, and fortunately, we were able to make it work, and I was able to help him grow. But I told Hazel that the long-term plan is, she practiced her profession as a pharmacist while, I'll be developing the business. And that's exactly what we did. Like on point, based on our game plan before we even came to the US. Was it easy? Hell no. I mean, there was a lot of ups and downs. I mean, Captech Global is my probably fourth business. And it took me like the fourth time to really make it work. It took me 4 years to make it profitable. So that wasn't easy, especially with 3 kids. So that was my background, call center. And, I helped create hundreds of thousands of jobs in the Philippines. That's the part I really fell in love with. That's why when I started Captech Global, I had no idea what my business model was. What I just know is that I want to create high-paying jobs in the Philippines and help my fellow entrepreneurs. And then we kind of it's like, there's a saying, being an entrepreneur is like jumping off the cliff and building the parachute as you go down. That's exactly what I did. I was just really, really lucky that I have an amazing wife who supported me, who believed in me when, times got tough where I stopped believing in myself. And aside from that, she supported me too financially. So that helped a lot too. So that was the plan before coming to the US. And then slowly we kind of transformed that idea into reality. And yeah, that's how we got to where we are today. I mean, not just the business, but the lifestyle, being able to, like I mentioned earlier, we were trying to figure out what can we do where we can make money, but spend time together the whole day, right? And we're doing it right now. Like we want to go out and have sushi. Like I was just telling Leanne because we had sushi for lunch. One of my motivation to be successful was I just want to be able to eat sushi anytime I want because it's expensive. But now, whatever she wants, right? Whatever she wants, whenever she wants, we can go.
Yeah.
And then there's just one thing too that kind of stuck in my head when we had our first son, Gabby, when we were still in the Philippines, when she was pregnant. Man, I was so broke that I couldn't even buy her dress.
Oh.
That's just so heartbreaking, right? And so I have a list in my phone that says never again. My number one was never again. Well, I will feel that. And what's the term? Where I couldn't afford what my wife want. Never again. So that's why now she wants something. Go get it. Like especially clothes, and she loves clothes. Just get it. So it's like what Leandro saying earlier, where you can say I got you. That's probably the best feeling ever. As a provider, as a father, as a husband, when you can say that to your family, say I got you, don't worry about it, I got it, man, it's so powerful.
It is. And being able to go to a restaurant, look at the menu, not from the right to left, just look at the left and don't care about the right. $5. Okay, I'll get that. What is it, edamame? That's all you get to edamame.
It's so good. It's awesome.
Oh man,
No, that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I think for you, I don't think you mentioned this, but I think the thing is cool too is, you were basically weren't you like working with the president too, kind of like in a way where they sent you?
So I was working with the Philippine government because I was basically selling a country. I was promoting the Philippines. So I would go on tours with the Philippine attaché for business in the US, with the actual group of the president that time, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, and then that time the Department of Trade, Secretary of Department of Trade. We would present in different investor forums, different Fortune 500 companies. That was my job. I was setting a country.
That's crazy. I think it's cool when you see like heavy hitters. Like I consider you both like heavy hitters, right? It's like cool to see like a trend of like friends, right? That both in their own ways like made huge impact in their country, and then come here and then do it again. Like that's really cool. And that you guys still stayed friends. Was there this is a two-part question, is one, how do you feel like how do you feel that what you did as an actor, and then for you, like being, because you also had your own kind of business stuff too, growing up too, didn't you?
my dad's business. But that was more of like a part time. I was really in the corporate. I was an employee. Like when I was working with DTSI, man, I'd be working at least 10, 12 hours a day. That's my typical, because I had to cover US hours and then Philippine hours. Until I realized that, man, I'm making this guy so rich. I think I need to start making myself rich. That process took a long time, though.
Yeah.
That's a long time. But obviously, I love, and I until today I have a very good relationship with Miguel. I'm forever grateful because he chose me out of all the people he could have chosen. He chose me and gave me this opportunity. That's why when something great happens to me, whether it's family, business, I make sure I send him a text message just reminding him
Wow.
and just thanking him again. And I do that until today. When my son joined the US Marines, he was one of the first guys I texted him, "Hey, this is what you've done. This is what you've contributed." And then when I started making money with the business, and I got my SBA, I texted him too that, "Hey, I just want to thank you again. You have no idea, like, you changed." And he knows that because I keep telling him. That's why when I was with him a few weeks ago when I was in the Philippines. He was, we had lunch. He was picking up the check. I said, "Miguel, you're not picking up the check. As long as you're with me, you've done so much for me already." So he knows that, and that's if he didn't choose me,
Imagine that.
we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, he changed your life.
He
Man.
changed my life. He could have chosen. He had few other options, but he chose me.
Yeah.
So
And he made the right choice, clearly.
I think so, because
Yeah.
I know he made a lot of money
Great
too.
choice.
So to kind of tie into the integration piece, can you talk about so two-part? One, the first question is, did you both help each other out along the way? Were you communicating regularly on your journeys? And then two, can you speak into how specifically the things in your past impact you today in the way that you operate or work? Like how you interact with people, how your ideas come. Like, can you talk about how you're integrating all those things now?
Chris helped me a lot because in college he was already mentoring our group when it comes to he's always been an entrepreneur. He was always the leader of the team. He actually he was the vice president of the class, and then he had to give up that position to run for council, and then he picked me to be the officer, and then they nominated me as the president. So I was the president of the class, right? So that already is telling me that he has that kind of heart. He's a selfless kind of guy, entrepreneur, a great leader. So he was already helping me. And even here with my business right now, he supported me. He is a client of mine, right, with my business. And I have to repay you. I haven't helped you with your business, but so I'm here, man. I'm here to repay. See, we haven't seen each other for how long?
Last time we saw each other, it was by accident. It was maybe like 2014 in LA. And it was by accident.
Yeah. But when we met again last night, we couldn't stop talking.
It was just like yesterday.
Yeah, time wasn't enough for us to catch up. Yeah,
Blame it on Southwest because they were delayed.
I know that. Yeah. So from the start, yeah, he was already helping me. He doesn't know that. So you would be my Miguel. So I thank you. I would thank you. So
That's cool.
So my being an actor helped me know myself a lot, right? I found myself to be a person of morals. I have this moral compass in me that told me that, hey, yes, you can make a lot of money doing this, but are you happy doing it? Right? So, means to an end, right? You're making money, but what are you doing to make that money? Because a drug pusher can be a multimillionaire, but then you cannot justify it, right? So for me, that was it. I couldn't justify me making money with what I was doing because I wasn't happy doing it, right? Again, I love the craft. Nothing, I want people to know that I love acting. I loved some of the people, did not like most of the people, right? So that made me realize, okay, I had to do something that I am passionate about, that I love. Now, when I make money, I don't feel guilty and I'm happy about it, right? So that helped me a lot. So when I moved here, I had to make sure that I had the same goal, because you will get distracted when you move to the US from the Philippines. It's it's entirely different world, right? So then when when I moved here, became an employee, I couldn't keep a job, right? I thought I was a bad employee. I thought did not have the right work ethic, but then I realized that working a job wasn't for me. Entrepreneurship was, right? So again, that's a point of realization that, okay, entrepreneurship would be my means to make money, right? And then so then I found this business, and when I started the business, I went through a lot of adversities, right? Like in any business. Then in the beginning, I was taking it personally. I was taking all those no's personally. So I had to tell my mentor, hey, I want to punch this guy who said no to me. But then, Leandro, don't take it personally. I'm going to recommend some books. So I recommended some books. I did a lot of self-development. I read a lot of books. Like, first thing that I read was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And then I realized that you gotta really be genuinely interested in people, right? Otherwise, they will know that you are what you're after for. They know if you're just after for a sale, for money, right? So, did a lot of self-improvement, read a lot of books. That's when I started attracting people, right? That's when I started becoming a leader, right? And then I read a lot of John Maxwell. And what resonates the most is when he says that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So you got to be influential. How do you become influential? You got to be a leader that shows, right? Not just says, right? Not just commands. You got a leader that leads from the front, right? Show me how it's done, right? So, and because of that, I became a better leader, and that's what led me to where I am.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I there's a lot of things that that come into my mind. It's just like, when I think about some other people I've talked to, just like the diversity when they've gone through certain diversity, especially as, humans, I guess, not even just as artists, but just as humans, it's like, it's hard. How do you not take it personally, And then one person was saying that the way she did it, Katie, she was like saying that she, kind of separated herself into different people. And so she was like, she had like an artist self. She had like a dancer self. And so when someone, said something about her, she was like, oh, well, that's the artist. And she can like, oh, well, I can forgive. It's okay. You're okay. She's able to separate herself from those specific identities. And I was telling her, like, I wasn't able to do that. I did the opposite. I always thought that once I identified myself so heavily on all these different parts of me, that when it got attacked, it was like, that's me. I'm horrible. I can't do this. I'm not enough, And so it's interesting when you're talking about self-development, and like, it just seems like a huge, like mindset, like shifts like have to happen. And, you have to really like separate yourself from, and really care about people. And I think that for you, both of you, like, is like, how do you continue to care for people? How do you put them first? I think that's really awesome. Wow. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And going back to adversity, since we're talking about that. There's a book right now, Rejection Therapy. Have you guys? So this guy, he so he there's a YouTube. You can watch it, and there's 100 Days of Rejection. So this guy went for 100 rejections. He went for no's. He will do something that he knows he will get a no, and the goal is for him to get 100 no's. If he doesn't get 100 no's, for him it's a failed mission, right? So I said, what are things that you can ask a stranger that for sure you'll get a no? So the first thing that he did was he borrowed $100 from a stranger. He recorded himself. Hey, can I borrow $100? No. Okay, thanks. Then he ran, right? So he did so many things to get a no until one day he went to Krispy Kreme. He asked the lady, hey, can you make me the Olympic color, the symbol of Olympics? And then he knows he was going to get a no. But the lady said, I think I can do that. So to cut the story short, he got a yes. And then the lady created that the Krispy Kreme, right? And became viral. It became, and then another attempt that he made was he went to a stranger's house, knock on the door. Hey, I have a flower here. Can I plant it in your backyard? The guy said, of course. No, I'm not going to do it. But maybe my neighbor will, right? And then, whoa, wow. Why do you not want me to plant it in your backyard? Oh, because I have a dog. And the dog is just going to ruin your flower. So true enough, he went to the neighbor. The lady said, yeah, go ahead. So lesson learned, you get a no, when you get a no, find out why. Right? Ask why you're getting a no, right? Because they're not rejecting, they have a reason for saying no. They're not really rejecting you, right? They have a reason. So that it's a great book. It's powerful. Yeah. A rejection proof.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I learned something very important today.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned earlier, Leandro and I, we've known each other since college. He definitely helped me get to where I am today, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been able to do our feasibility, finish it, and graduate college, because I don't think I would have ever gotten the job that I've gotten to get to where I am today if I wasn't a graduate of our course, entrepreneurship, right? And at that time, I remember our group, we had a crazy group, right? We would be doing our feasibility study, talking while drinking. Like we had this usual place in his house. Wasn't that the basement?
Yeah, it's called the black room. It was really black everywhere.
Yeah. So we would be talking about our paper while drinking. And then a lot of our group members they're just pass out. So we would stay up and try to finish it.
Yeah.
And then, believe it or not, with the group we had, we aced it.
Yeah. Yep.
We didn't just pass it. We aced it.
Yeah.
And then that gave me the confidence that because we were doing feasibility studies, like we actually created the business together. Yeah. Like in college, we were required to do that, and that gave me the confidence that, man, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. Yep. And even at that point, I wanted to do something that will change people's lives for the better.
Yep.
And so that was, I'd say, my starting point. Because and the other reason too is when I can't be there to do things, he was doing it, because I had several businesses already in college. And so he kind of helped me kind of do what I was doing, because he was doing some of the stuff, because we can't have the other members do it. We just don't trust them.
Is this going to be aired in the
But I think they know.
Yeah, they know.
So
we had fun though. So much fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. And then he got really busy with his acting career. And I mean, I think we would still text
Yeah.
once in a while.
Yeah.
But then you got really busy. I got married, and then we moved here, and then we just kind of got connected again. I think is when we saw each other in LA accidentally, and then we got our text, our numbers. It wasn't even. I don't think it was even through Facebook.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So we got each other's number. We kind of got connected, and then last year we got reconnected because of your business. And then so like we were together last night, and it was just like yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like our story. I was telling him that we've known each other. Like we met when we moved here in the apartment. We were in the same apartment complex. You're 30 plus, and you were 15.
Yeah.
And we were just playing basketball, and
Wow.
now we're doing big boy stuff.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's wild.
So
Yeah, that's so cool, man. Okay, so to wrap it up, I just want to ask a few questions. We'll try to do rapid fire kind of stuff. Okay, so right? You're a father, you're a husband, you're a entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're a leader, right? You're working on being on a marathon, right? You're training for a marathon. You have like multiple things going on, right? And then you were an actor, right? You're a model, and I don't even know what else you do. You'll have to inform us of all the other things you're doing now as an entrepreneur, father, husband, right? Same thing. Can you talk about can you give advice to those who have multiple interests, right? That like want to do this, want to do that. How did you or do you constantly integrate all these things you love every day into what you're doing? And how do you stay focused and bring those things together?
You want to go first?
that's a really good
Yeah.
question. What I would say is that be present. If you're spending time with your wife eating, put your phone away. Unless you're trying to research something together or whatever, right? But that's number one. And I was telling Leandro that I make sure that I have a personal time with each of my kids at least once a month. So whether it's just eating ice cream or getting boba, whatever. And then we're just talking. So I think that's the number one, is just be present. If you're doing work, do work. If you're spending time with your family, like be present, spend time with them. And then I think the other thing is you gotta learn how to compartmentalize, right? Because like you said earlier, we have different roles. You're a father, you're a husband, we're a business owner. You can't play all those roles at the same time. You just can't.
Right.
You have to compartmentalize them and make time for each. Like, like Leandro, he works out freaking every day. and you got to make time for those things that are important to you, because that's all part of you, all part of your life. Be present and compartmentalize.
Yeah. I like that. And I believe that there is no such thing as multitasking. That's a computer language, right? There's shift tasking, right? So you cannot do all things at the same time. So you have to kind of be focused, right? So you want to be great, not good, because the enemy of greatness, good, right? So when you're trying to be good at a lot of things, you're never going to be great at one thing, right? So now what I'm trying to say is you focus on the different aspects of life. Like when it comes to your faith, like I said, you got to be 100% your faith, right? And when you're focusing on your family, when you're spending time with family, you got to focus on them. That's right. I'm still guilty of that. I got to put down my phone when I'm with my family, because at one time my 3-year-old told me, Papa, put down your phone. Then that's when when I'm with my son, I'm not going to use my phone. And in my line of business, if I don't check my phone, my email for 30 minutes, I'll get 100 emails right then. So anyway, yeah. So you got to focus on those things, right? Your faith, 100%, your family, 100%, your self-development, 100%, right? Your health, 100%, right? So find a way to be 100% on everything. So that way, when you're focusing on you're giving 100% with your faith, that doesn't mean that you are neglecting the other parts, right? So now you want to be a successful entrepreneur, find something that you're good at and then make it great and just focus on that, right? So just got to be laser focused, right?
100%.
Yeah,
I think it's the key term to focus. Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah. Don't work on your weakness. Work on what you're good at and become great. My one of my mentors said, if you want to make a lot of money, become great. Because don't aim for money. Don't aim for money. Aim for greatness, because money follows greatness. Right? Look at Tiger Woods, the greatest. Money follows him. Who's the greatest basketball player? Michael Jordan. Money follows him. Greatest actors. Money follows them, right? So focus on becoming great at one thing.
100%.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's awesome. Thank you so much. That's awesome. So last question. Can you both of you give me your top 2 favorite quotes? I mean, you both dropped a lot of quotes in there that are so good, but I just want to know like your top 2 quotes right now.
So many, but right now, do something today that your future self will thank you for, right? Number 2, people, like Maya Angelou said, right? People will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So for me, every day when you come across anyone, you gotta add value to them, right? You add value by just talking to them, right? Make it an experience. Make them remember how you made them feel. And I hope the way you make them feel is a positive feeling because they will also remember if you hurt them, right? So make them feel good about themselves, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd say my number 1 is all things are created twice. First in the mind, then in reality. Because, if you can't create it in your head, how do you expect that to convert that into reality? That's why when I met Azel, I had that picture in my head. I'm not gonna say all the details, but it happened, right? And then with the business too, when I started it, I was obsessed to hitting that, having 100 full-time people. I have 170 now. So now I'm obsessed on having 1,000 people. So I know it's gonna happen, just a matter of time.
Yeah.
My second favorite quote, which I live by every day, is success follows significance. Kind of like what Leandro said, if you're doing something that's valuable, that's something important, that is something valuable to people, money will follow.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I want to piggyback on what you said. Everything happens twice because even a broken clock is correct twice.
That's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome. That is good.
That is so cool.
That's good. I feel broken all the time. Good for me. That's awesome.
Well, Mark Cuban said you only need to pick correct once to make it, right? So.
Yeah. And Thomas Edison, he said, how do you feel that you failed 1,000 times before creating that the incandescent bulb, right? He said, no, I didn't fail. I just found 1,000 ways to how to not make it work, and just once on how to make it work. Right? There's a lot of quotes.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff involved, but you're gonna pick up a lot of quotes.
There's a lot.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Cool, man. Well, thank you both for taking time to be here and sharing your knowledge, your wisdom. And I just Yeah, I feel really honored. And so thank you.
Thanks for having us
Yeah.
here.
Is there any last things that you'd like to say or?
Yeah, I'm gonna say something to you for you. Right now, I'm not gonna say good luck, but I'm gonna say you got this, and the inevitable is gonna happen. You're gonna be successful. I know that. I see this, man. I see it. So it's gonna happen.
Thank you so much. I just got chilled. That means a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you. Wow.
And I guess, to that point too, I won't be investing my time and money on you if I don't think you're gonna make it.
Yeah,
So you got it.
yeah. I see it, man.
Trying to make you cry. Oh my goodness. I was not ready for that. Well, it means a lot coming from both of you. So thank you.
Coming from the heart, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for watching. So, remember, be present to where you're at, who you're with, care for people first, make sure that they know that, you're for them, make sure that they succeed. And then, yeah, what else?
Just genuinely care for people.
I have one last thing to say.
Yeah.
Do things based on your purpose, not on passion, because passion disappear. But purpose, if you anchor your why on purpose, you are committed. And when you're committed, you don't need to be motivated.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Motivation fades.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good. Okay, actually, where can people find you? I don't know if there's if they want to get in contact with you or follow your journey. Is there anything, Gav?
Yeah.
Email, social media?
Yeah, so I have my Facebook page, Leandro Luis Munoz, and I don't know if you're gonna add something here. Yeah, that's my. I'll send it to you. Just click the link and then you'll reach me.
Yeah. And then my website is gabtechglobal.com. So that's GABTECHGLOBAL.com.
Awesome. Perfect. Awesome. Follow them. Get you'll learn so much and your lives will be changed, obviously, as my life has been changed right in front of your eyes. So thanks for watching Master of Integration. Just keep on being you, pursue those things inside of you. And I can't wait for the day that you can say, I got you.